Hello everyone, I'm just going to wait for everyone to join. I'm going to set up my podcast situation and then we're going to jump in to talking about my jaw surgery, and it will all be recorded as a podcast as well, in case you want to listen to the podcast version of it. Hello everyone, just setting up my podcast. Hi. Haven't done a live in ages. Well, maybe for a month. Hello. Where are we all joining from? Obviously not Australia because you guys are asleep. Where are we all joining from? How are we all doing? Just drop in the chat box a little something and then we will jump on in. I've got all of your questions here that you guys left for me in November when I was talking about how you can hold anger in your jaw, and I forgot, Belgium. And I forgot to, I just haven't done the podcast episode about it. So I know a lot of you maybe know that I've had jaw surgery, but you don't really know the ins and outs of it. So Netherlands, I love how many Europeans we have. So I'm really excited to be able to share all this with you guys today. So I'm just going to Chicago. I actually have never been to Chicago and I feel like I would love it. New York. I miss New York. I will be there at the end of the year. I'm manifesting that I will move back to America. Hi Marissa, Happy New Year. I'm manifesting that I will move back to New York. End of the year is what we are manifesting. Let me click record. Okay guys, so today I'm going to talk to you guys about, and you guys can ask questions as we go, but I also have all of your questions from my question box that I put up in November on my Instagram story when I mentioned it. When I mentioned about my jaw surgery and holding anger in your jaw. So I've got all your questions here, but you guys can ask more as we go if you would like. From Dubai, California, I'm just loving the variety we have going on this live. So, okay, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of story time so you understand kind of what jaw surgery is, how it kind of went, why I had my jaw surgery, and then we will jump into all of the amazing questions that you guys have asked me. And you've asked me a lot of questions, so you guys are obviously very interested to know. So firstly is you can have jaw surgery for cosmetic reasons and not cosmetic reasons. I chose to get my jaw surgery actually for a bit of both. So the cosmetic reason why I got my jaw surgery was because I was told that when I would get to about 40, my face and my cheekbones would and my upper lip would start to really, really recede. So it would really look quite flat, and it would really my face would look quite hollow. And so he basically was not my prosthodontist, my jaw surgeon, whatever his title was, I can't remember the title. Basically, he was like, look, you don't have to get it done, but if you don't, you're going to probably regret it when you're 40. You'll need a shitload of Botox to fill your cheeks back out again, fill your under eyes back out again, and fill your upper lip. And I was like, well, I just have never really been interested in Botox. I really like the natural aging process. I see beauty in it. So I was just like, I don't want that. And also I was like, I don't want to fucking pay for this shit when I'm 40. That was also, to be honest, a really key thing. I was 20. I think I was 20 when I had it done. And I was like, well, mum and dad are paying for this right now, so I'm going to fucking use that because it's a very expensive procedure. Anyway, and then the non-cosmetic reason why I had to get it done. So the medical reason of why I had to get it done was I was born, you wouldn't have known it when I was a teenager, but I was born with a class 3 underbite. So what that means is that I had an underbite, and I'm sure some of you have seen other people in the world have underbites before where their bottom jaw is in front of their top jaw. So I was born with that kind of jaw dynamic, if for want of a better word. And I started having orthodontic work done when I was in grade 1 and 2. I remember my first few appointments in New York. And I can't remember what I was getting done at that point. I think it was just retainer. Yeah, I was getting retainers. I'm sure many of you had this where you have that cranker thing in the roof of your mouth. It was having them all the time. Anyway, so I started my teeth journey when I was in grade 2 or grade 1, possibly even. I was really young, maybe even kindergarten in New York, but I was very, very young. And basically the orthodontists over the years were able to get my top jaw with no surgery, get my top jaw in front of my bottom jaw. But it was always just being held. It was this is my bottom jaw, this is my top jaw. It was that. It was, normally your teeth shouldn't sit like that. It should sit over your bottom teeth. It should sit like that. It was like always just there. And I always felt like kind of stressed because I didn't want it to slip into an underbite. You know, people would pick on me when I was younger, not for my underbite because I didn't really know what it was, but that I would never smile with my teeth. I would always have a closed smile. And I don't remember being heavily self-conscious about it when I was little because I don't really think I knew any different. But I know that as time progressed, I was definitely a little bit self-conscious about it. But also, I will say, I really like being unique. So I was also like the only kid in school that would have to have like multiple surgeries on their teeth and whatever. So in a fucked up, it was a fucked up dynamic, right? That I had like almost a little bit of like a identity addiction to all my teeth work. It was like I got sympathy, right? As we're kids, this is a little trauma thing for you guys to understand. So a lot of us get more sympathy and more love from our parents and from our friends and our loved ones when we are sick. So I got more sympathy, of course, when I was going through multiple operations all the time. So even though I hated it, part of me also was like, I get more sympathy from it. Like I get love, right? From having all these surgeries. So anyway, I even had to have headgear. If none of you know what headgear is, basically you have to wear this thing at nighttime. And my headgear was like a bit of a modern-y kind of one. It was more simplistic, but this is like fucking vulnerable for me to tell you guys. But it was like a foam patch there and a foam patch there, and it had a wire that would go from there to your chin. This is like so long ago. I can't even don't even almost remember this, right? And I had I had a retainer at the time, and the retainer had hooks on the side of the retainer. Like a piece of metal would come across my teeth like there, and it would hook on. And then I would have two elastics due to connection. Let me just go on to 4G. 1 second, guys. Hold on. We're on 4G now. Hi, Tony. We're on 4G. Okay, so basically I had these two elastics. They would hook on from my retainer, and they would hook on to like this bar that would come out horizontal from the vertical bar that would go like that. On my headgear. And so I wore that for I don't even know how many years when I would go to bed at night when I was younger, and that brought my front jaw forward. Now the thing was, through all of these times, what we didn't really know, but like we were kind of told, like I remember kind of being told, was like this may not be a full, I think it's a band-aid, right? It's not fixing the root, because the problem was that no matter how much we were able to pull my top jaw forward with my muscles, it wasn't changing the bone structure in my jaw. So it was always like temporary, basically, is what it was. And I kind of felt that because if I didn't wear my headgear, if I didn't wear my retainer, or if I didn't do something that I was meant to do with my orthodontic work, I could feel my top jaw slipping back, and it would like stress me out because I didn't want that to happen, obviously. So I had 3 sets of braces from like grade 3 to, I actually got them off when I was like in high school, and then I had to re-get them on again for my jaw surgery. So long story short, I had a shitload of surgeries. I'm missing 8 adult teeth, so I actually have implants, not boob implants, they're all real. I have teeth implants as well because I'm missing I'm missing 8 adult teeth. I'm missing 8, I think it is, or is it 6? 6 or 8, one of the two. 8 adult teeth. And what that means is that when I lost my baby teeth, no adult teeth would come through. And this was a problem actually because I wouldn't lose. I've never pulled out a molar, right? So you know when you like pull out a tooth for the tooth fairy, or you lose a tooth for the tooth fairy? I've never lost a molar. They've all been taken out surgically, because what would happen is because there was no adult tooth underneath the tooth growing to push it out, my baby teeth would actually recede into my gums. So I'm going to show you guys. It's not graphic, don't worry. Make sure there's no pesto in my teeth. But if you look there, can you see how it's like the gum goes down a bit and it looks a bit funny? I'm going to show you again. You have to look at that tooth there, okay? Can you see that? Okay, well, anyway, if you can't, sorry, but basically the gum looks a bit funny there. And at that point in my mouth, I had to have surgery to pull a baby tooth out that was receding down. They actually had to cut out bone because it was receding into my bones. That was a pretty painful surgery. So I had all my molars like surgically taken out, blah, blah, blah. I remember some pretty horrific stories of like me getting a fork stuck in my stitches and ripping my stitches out. I remember one time I came back from surgery and my blood wasn't clotting like in my mouth, and so I was holding a washer there for ages. If anyone's got a gross stomach, I do right now. I'm like, oh. I was holding a washer there, like a face washer, to try and get the blood to clot, and I pulled the washer out and this massive blood clot came with it. It was so fucking disgusting. I remember that shit like clear as day. Anyway, so I had to have many surgeries on my teeth, and we thought I was done. It came to like I finished year 12 and everything. I went on my gap year and I was like done with my teeth. Like I thought that I was done. I have had these two teeth next to my front two built up, so they're half fake, those two teeth, and then I've got fake teeth on this side in my molars because they're implants. So basically an implant is, do not Google it because I did this to myself and I traumatized myself. So an implant is basically they stick a metal rod down into your bone. You have to let that metal rod heal for 3 months, so you just have a metal rod sticking out of your mouth. It's not very pleasant. And then they put a cap, which is a tooth, on that metal rod, so it's a fake tooth. So I've got them on this side of my mouth, not on this side actually. They were able to do enough orthodontic work. We were able to use, I think we were able to use one of my wisdom teeth, but we were able to do enough orthodontic work with my molars that I didn't actually need to get 8 implants. I only have 2 implants, which is actually fucking amazing given that I was missing 8 adult teeth. Or 6, I can't remember. Anyway, so I thought all my orthodontic work was done, blah, blah, blah. And then I went on my gap year, whatever. I actually had a really terrible infection in my wisdom teeth on my gap year, so I had to get them ripped out in the chair. It was not pleasant. Anyway, then I came back, and I actually can't remember how it kind of happened, but I remember like, I think maybe like mum had done some research for like a really good orthodontist in Melbourne or whatever. I can't remember how it happened. Anyway, and I went to go see this new orthodontist in Melbourne. Like we'd moved to Melbourne at this point. I was getting all my orthodontic work done in Sydney prior to this. Came back from my gap year and mum wanted me to see this guy. And I can't remember whether she kind of told me like, I'm kind of wanting you to think about jaw surgery or not. And at this point you couldn't tell that I had an underbite. I was like 19 or 20 and my teeth looked fine. It was just that I had to wear my retainer at night, otherwise my teeth would slip back a little bit and I'd feel it. But it was a band-aid. It was never a permanent solution. And I kind of didn't want, a really big reason of why I did my jaw surgery was I didn't want to have to spend the rest of my life constantly worried that my teeth were going to slip back if I didn't wear my fucking retainer. Like what if I went on holidays and I forgot it for a month? Like, do you know what I mean? Anyway, so I came back and mum found this like top orthodontist in Melbourne. And basically I like had a consult with him and he was like, so that's right. So mum said to me, the thing is with jaw surgery is that you have to get your teeth to get to the worst that they can be. So what this meant was that I couldn't wear a retainer. I couldn't wear my retainer. I had to get my underbite back. We needed to like basically reverse all the work that we'd spent like 20 years on essentially doing. And I was like, fuck that. There's no way in hell. I'm first year uni. Like, you know, I'm meant to be having fun, X, Y, and Z. I'm not having braces again. I'm not doing this shit. I was so like, hell no. Anyway, I think mum was something, I can't remember the exact details. Basically, we went to go have a consult with this guy anyway, his orthodontist. And long story short, he kind of told me what was going to have to happen. And I said to him, and he was like as cocky as sometimes I am. Like he's very, very confident, right? And I'm obviously very confident. And I like to like challenge people. He wanted my case because you don't often get people that need jaw surgery. And so as an orthodontist, it's one of those things where it's like, if you can nail someone's jaw surgery, you're going to change their fucking life because their face is going to like have more definition essentially. And it can be a pretty epic transformation in someone's face from like the previous, the before to like 3 years later when they've healed, because it takes about 2.5, 3 years for your face to heal. It's a long process. Anyway, so I had a meeting with him, with my mum, and he told me everything, blah, blah, blah. And I basically said, okay, well, I have a challenge for you. I will do this if we can do everything backwards. So what this meant basically was, so you're meant to get your teeth really bad before you have jaw surgery. Then you have the jaw surgery, then you get braces again and X, Y, and Z after the jaw surgery. And I said to him, this is what I will do with you. We will do the inside braces where you can't see them because they're on the back of my teeth. Sorry, mum and dad, for the cost of this. We will do inside braces. I will have my jaw surgery before, like, I won't need to get my underbite back or anything. You're going to do my jaw surgery the wrong way round, blah, blah, blah. And basically I made him do everything backwards. And he was like, okay, challenge accepted. So I was the first case of people doing this. And he actually took my case to Mexico for an international, like, orthodontic, like, seminar, conference, because no one's done this before. And I'm like, classic. I made him do, like, classic case that it was like Monica made him do this. Anyway, so I got my jaw surgery, and I'm gonna give you guys now the lowdown of that was like the upcoming. So then the jaw surgery. So I had to have braces for maybe 8 months to a year, like inside braces. before I could get the jaw surgery. So you didn't know that I had braces. You could sometimes see them on the bottom, but you couldn't see them on the top because they were like behind my teeth, and obviously you don't see them when I'm talking. But I don't have them now. My teeth are all done. And oh, that's right. And also I think what you were meant to do is pre-jaw surgery have the implants. And I said to him, I want it all done at once. I'm not having multiple surgeries. I want you to put the implants in when you're giving me the jaw surgery. So anyway, we did all of the workup stuff to the jaw surgery. I was not exactly like thrilled about it. But I also, my other surgeon sat me down and literally was like, your face is going to really not look so fabulous when you're 40 if you don't get this done. And I was like, I don't want to be 40 with kids and trying to like go through fucking jaw surgery. I need to just cop this and do it now. The thing is, I had no idea how bad it was going to be honest. Like I had no fucking idea. And so anyway, had the braces, went in for the jaw surgery, obviously nervous as fucking hell, right? Went in for the jaw surgery, and I didn't really know what they did because I didn't want to know what they did, but I'm going to explain to you guys because I figured it out afterwards, and then mum told me once I figured this out, and I was just like repulsed by it. So firstly, they put you on such a high course of antibiotics when you cut. So, okay, go in for the jaw surgery, and I came out and I wanted to die. Like, I wanted to die. I can't even tell you the pain. Like, I just can't even tell you the pain. Like, I almost want to cry for my old self. The pain of being in a situation. And I remember my mum and my sister and my dad being there, and they were really good at not reacting too much to my face. But I remember them telling me like years later of like, it was traumatizing to see me, and especially for my little sister, it was traumatizing to see me like this in a hospital bed. And I'd had multiple surgeries on my mouth before, as you guys know. I think I had 3 at this point. So I knew what I was in for, in that there is no surgery as bad as a mouth surgery, because when you come out of surgery, the fact that you can't speak, you can barely drink water, like your face, especially as a chatterbox like me, like your face is everything, right? So I've had surgery on my toe before, and I remember coming out of it and being so excited because I could talk, and my mouth wasn't full of blood like it usually is. So anyway, I came out of this surgery and I was on another fucking planet. I had to stay in hospital for a few days. You can't sleep because your face is like, I can't even tell you guys how swollen my face was. Like, it was fucking huge, right? And I only had I only had my top jaw done. I didn't even have my bottom as well. Some people have double jaw surgery, which I can't even imagine. Anyway, so had my surgery, was able to get home. Now, you can't eat for about 3 months. So I lost so much weight. I couldn't keep any food down. The antibiotics was making me so sick that my parents were worried that we're gonna have to send me back to hospital because of dehydration, because I had the worst diarrhea. I don't know whether any of you guys have had such bad diarrhea before where your back starts to hurt. That was me. Like, it was horrible. And because I was very strict back then as well, of like no sugar. I wasn't even eating any fruit. My surgeon was like, look, Monica, just go off the antibiotics. Like, it's a bit of a risk, obviously, because like you got all this bacteria in your mouth where these massive wounds are. But he was like, go off the antibiotics. Like, it's making you so sick. You don't eat sugar, so I'm not really worried about you. And I was obviously fine. So I went off the antibiotics, and that helped a lot. But yeah, like I couldn't sleep for ages, and you can't eat anything. Like, even drinking and like doing anything with your mouth was just fucking traumatizing. Anyway, so I didn't realize how long it takes to heal, right? They kind of say, oh, it takes about 3 months to heal. It takes about 3 fucking years, because your face changes. And the hardest part for me, my parents didn't let me see myself in a mirror for a while because they knew I was going to be so traumatized by it. Because, I mean, you've identified with yourself as, this is me, this is what I look like, this is Monica, and you see yourself every day in the mirror, you see yourself in a camera, you're like, this is me. And then you have jaw surgery and your face changes. Now, not drastically now. Like, if I put a picture of my old face and now, I still look the same, but you'd be able to tell the difference because I've got more facial definition than the one I did back then. I've got like my cheekbones are more defined than what it was back then. But I still look the same. But the thing is, when you've recently had the jaw surgery, your face is so swollen that you don't look the same. You know what you look like, to be honest? Thing 1, thing 2 is what you look like, because your face is so swollen and your skin is being stretched in a way that it hasn't been stretched before. Your nose is being stretched in a way, your lips, like it looks like I had lip fillers, because your lips have either been stretched in a way they haven't been stretched before, and you can't move your mouth properly. And anyway, there's so much inflammation. Obviously it's traumatic for your face, and your whole face is involved. And I didn't realize this, but I will explain to you guys why your whole face is involved, including even your eyes and like your forehead. So I didn't let my parents didn't let myself see me in the mirror for quite a while, and then eventually I did. And I remember just having the biggest breakdown because I was like, where am I? Like, it was so traumatic looking at myself in the mirror and being like, where am I? Like, this isn't me. And it was this out of body experience of like, my heart felt so sorry for my face. It was like my higher self, almost like this other version of myself, like my mummy version of myself, like felt so sorry for me because I couldn't recognize myself in the mirror. Like, I was like, who is this? And I know it was traumatizing for my friends, but they obviously didn't say anything because that, like, they were really good about that. But I mean, yeah, like I did look different, and it was really hard in the first few, it was really hard, I'd say, in the first year, because I just, like, even for me to smile, I felt like my face was always being stretched, and it felt really uncomfortable doing a lot of those things. And that took me a long time to be able to eat again. And like, you can't brush your teeth for ages. Like, it's just a whole round disgusting kind of experience. And even like, okay, I'm going to go obviously the sex route because that's what I'm here for. Even when it comes to like blowjobs, so for ages, like, it would hurt after a little bit because of my jaw. And then even now still, if I am really deep throating for a long period of time, and I love giving blowjobs. So if I am down there for a long period of time, I have to have breaks because my jaw will like lock up and it will just get so sore. And it's just because obviously like my surgery. Anyway, so I found out what they actually do to your face. And this is what they do to your face. And some of you guys actually asked this in your questions. So I didn't really know what they did, to be honest. Like, I didn't want to know, right? But I figured it out because I was brushing my teeth. And I was like, why are there stitches up there? So when I say up there, I mean like up there, like where the very top of your gum, where it like hits the inside of your lip. That's where. And I was like, why are there stitches there? And then I realized, oh, I know why there are stitches there. So what they do for jaw surgery is they cut your gum, and just sorry if this is too TMI for anyone, they slice up your face, basically. They lift your whole face off your face, and they do it. So there's no scar here. I don't have any scars. I have scars inside my mouth if you look really closely. What they do is they cut up there, and they lift your whole face off your skull, like off your bones or whatever you call it. And they break the bone. They break your cheekbone. This is where they broke the cheekbone. So under my eyes, like where my cheekbone is, near my nose, they broke there, and they put silver plates, basically. So I've got little plates all through there in my face, and then they sew your face back on. That's what they do. It's fucking disgusting. So no wonder your whole face is traumatized and everything feels funky, because like they've literally moved your bones, they've moved your skeleton, they've moved the skeleton of your face forward by lifting your whole face off your face and then putting it back together in X, Y, and Z. So that's that. They also they lock your jaw together with bands once you come out of it as well, so that you can't talk, because obviously it needs to heal. And at the same time in all of this, I had a bone graft. So some of you guys would know what a skin graft is. Basically, they take another part of your skin and put it on where you've had a burn. I had a bone graft. So they took bone from my mouth and they put it where I showed you guys before, where that bit of gum looks a bit funny. They put it there because that used to be a really, really, really skinny bone, because they had to rip out a chunk of my tooth and a chunk of my jaw and my bone when my baby tooth receded in there, because there was no adult tooth. So I had a bone graft as well, and they also put my implants in. So I also had these metal rods sticking out of my mouth because that was where the implants were, and I didn't want to have extra surgeries. I was like, just fucking do it all at once. And then I had to have one more surgery after it, I think, to put the caps on the teeth. Or maybe that was done in the chair and I was numb. I can't remember. So yeah, that was basically what happened with the jaw surgery and all that jazz. And what was really funny is that after I got my jaw surgery and I eventually went back to work. Oh, sorry, Jelly. After I got my jaw surgery and I eventually went back to work, I was just working in a cafe at the time. one of the guys working at the cafe, he was really spiritual and like into all this energy stuff. And he said to me, he's like, Monica, I don't mean to like come across rude or anything, but have you noticed that you've been like less angry or less tense or less agitated lately? And I was like, actually, yeah, I haven't been as angry. Like, I'm feisty, right? Like if I'm pissed off, but I used to be quite an angry person, and not in like a abusive way. It was just like I would get angry over a lot of things, and I just like had a lot of anger in me, and it was towards men, and that's why I have such a big focus now on anger release, because it helped me so much. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, actually. And it was so funny because that day my parents went out on a date that night. And they came home and they said, we've been talking about like how we feel like you're less angry and everything. Do you feel that? And I was like, oh my God, you're the second person that has said this to me today. Anyway, and this is where I started looking into how your energy and your physicality and your body are connected. So as some of you might know, you hold anger in your jaw. So when you grind your teeth at night, or if you have any jaw issues, but a lot of people suffer from grinding their teeth at night, a lot of the time you're holding anger and stress and bitterness and that kind of stuff in your jaw. So it was really interesting that after my jaw surgery, I actually was like, a lot of tension had been removed from my face from this surgery. And then I did a lot more anger release after that when I went on my big like healing journey, for want of a better word, or phrase. And I released even more of that from my body. So that's kind of the jaw surgery part of things. So let's go through some of these questions that you guys have. Okay, so Emily has asked, why did you get surgery? I have bad jaw issues for years and I really don't want to get surgery, but I don't know what else to do. I've tried acupuncture, splint, chiro, nothing has worked. So it depends what your jaw issues are. I would not ever go down the route of surgery unless it's something that cannot be healed naturally. So for example, when I had my ski accident, guys, I was like in the hospital bed, and this actually really hot doctor, of course, typical, had come over and was like, Monica, you need surgery, blah, blah. And I literally remember saying to him, I can heal it with my mind and turmeric. I fuck you not. I literally said this to him, and he looked at me and he was like, Monica, I am all for you doing whatever you want to do. But I can tell you right now that your brain cannot heal this, because this is not just like a little break and a little fracture. This is like your bone is floating around in your leg kind of situation. And it was like, I'm sorry, but like we need to pick that bone up and we need to put it back together. Your ACL has detached. Like, you can't heal this with your mind. Like, I'm sorry to tell you. And that's an example where surgery was needed. There was no, and when they opened up my leg, it was way worse than what they thought. There was no way that my mind could have healed that naturally. Additionally, like a couple of years after that surgery, when I had my third surgery on my knee, I got that because I needed to get all the metal taken out of my knee, because no amount of physio, no amount of mindset work, no amount of energy healing was fixing this horrendous pain that I would get when I would activate my glutes and bend my knee. So the metal was taken out and it was fixed, because the problem wasn't like energy, the problem was the metal. So with my jaw surgery, the reason why I got jaw surgery was the problem wasn't anger. The problem was that my bone structure, I had been born that way. And I'm sorry, I don't care how woo you are, you cannot change the structure of your fucking bones in your face. Like, that shit needs surgery, right? Like, yes, you can do a million other things with your mind. You can get rid of bloating with your mind. You can get rid of scarring with your mind, 1,000,000%. But there's no way in fucking hell that I would have been able to just like all of a sudden get my jaw perfect with my mind. So that obviously was surgery as well. So Emily, if you have jaw issues, like you're grinding your teeth or you've got a lot of jaw pain, that I'd be looking more at anger, joining Queen Alchemy, doing one-on-one, whatever you want to do with me to get rid of that. And I would not be looking at doing surgery unless it's something where it's like, it's a physical issue, as in like, it's like the metal, you know, like the metal in your knee is causing the pain, or you're born with an underbite. That's a different scenario. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, next question, Lauren. I grind and clench my jaw all the time and would love tips on how to release this without surgery. So this is why I do anger release in all of my all my programs, but in Queen Alchemy and like other things, because this is how you're going to do it. And some of you might have seen, even in the last round of Queen Alchemy, I remember after call one of the girls put up on her Instagram, like, I just slept the whole night and I didn't clench my jaw. Like, this is the first time in years that I've stopped clenching my jaw. And it's very common after Queen Alchemy, where it's not just one modality, it's everything combined, that women will stop clenching their jaw. So I would really consider joining, especially now that it's open. Sharon, my boyfriend is grinding so much that his jaw is growing the wrong way now. Why? Well, it's from the grinding, and a lot of men grind their teeth because a lot of men don't feel safe to express their anger, because that would be like them being abusive. And remember, guys, with anger, it's not about expressing anger onto someone. It's not about projecting. It's about you needing to express your anger in a healthy way. So I always encourage men when they're grinding their teeth, X, Y, and Z, because I know some that grind their teeth. It's like, you should go to boxing classes more, like get a boxing bag, go punch something, go shoot guns, like go and do something that's going to get your anger out. And they'll be like, so you're telling me to go and scream about X, Y, and Z in the car? I'm like, yep, exactly that. And they're like, okay, cool. And it's because no one's given them permission. A lot of people just need permission to actually feel their anger. Anger isn't a bad emotion. Unexpressed anger is dangerous, right? Unexpressed anger is dangerous because something will trigger your unexpressed anger, and then you will fucking express it in a very bad way. And that's why people have those blackout rage kind of things, right? Where they have those moments where they black out and they just go into a rage spiral. And that's because they've had all this unexpressed anger, and it will get triggered and they will black out and they will do things that they would never do consciously, and that's dangerous. So unexpressed anger is dangerous, but expressed anger in a healthy way is never dangerous because you're expressing it in a healthy way. Next question. First, I'm wondering what happened. Why did you also have done that? Okay. Is there any way to make it stop? Oh, hold on. Is there any way to make it stop? Because my partner does it every night. Okay. I've kind of said that. I haven't had surgery, but can you help with clenching? I think I might do it sometimes. Yes, 100%. As I've said, join Queen Alchemy or one-on-one or whatever. Or hopefully end of the year, come to one of my events, hopefully end of the year, because they're also fucking amazing for the anger release. What are some ways to release anger in your awake state so you don't grind your teeth in your sleep? I mean, there's the obvious ways of like I said, go into the car and just fucking scream. You know, you can get in the shower and scream. You can scream into a pillow. They're all kind of like surface level ways to express anger. And then in Queen Alchemy, I show you guys a very deep way to express anger. And we also do this in my events when I can have them again, of a deeper way to express anger, which is like a very primal way. And the way that you move your body when you express the anger is actually what allows it to be released in that specific way. So you can go scream about something and you will feel better. But if you haven't also done the other layers of healing, it's not going to fix it completely, if that makes sense. So it's just like with sex. It's like if you're having painful sex, going and buying the lingerie could make you feel sexy, but you haven't fixed the reason why you have painful sex. So screaming about, you know, your boyfriend or whatever that you're angry about, or your friend that you're angry about, it'll make you feel better in that moment. But if you've also got wounding and you've also got trauma around I can't trust women or all men are fuckheads or whatever else, that's actually the thing that's making you angry, if that makes sense. And the surface level, the thing that's showing up is like your boyfriend not unpacking the dishwasher makes you angry. But the actual reason deep down is that you distrust men, for example, or like you fucking hate your dad because he abandoned you. And so what you actually need to do is heal that stuff, if that makes sense. So it's that deeper, like remember guys, I'm always getting to the root. I'm not here for the band-aids. Okay, next thing, what was recovery like? Is there a scar? Oh, I actually didn't mention this. So there is a scar. I mean, you guys can't see it, like where my gum is, but like you can't see it obviously on my face. The scar that you can see is, and you see it in my pictures, is like on my leg. And I used to actually be super self-conscious about it when I had my ski accident. I was so self-conscious, and now I fucking love it. Like now, I mean, I could Photoshop it out and I'm like, no way. Like I love my scar. It's part of me. It's part of my story. And I've actually learned to really love it. And it took me a long time. I used to really hate the scar on my leg. Anyway, the recovery was horrendous is all I can say. And I actually remember there being one point where I was sitting at the back door. I'd been inside for like fucking ages now. Your body gets so weak because all you can do is sit all day and you're so exhausted. And like, I literally remember like walking up the stairs was like running a marathon. Like you lose so much muscle tone. I can't even explain it to you. But I remember I was feeling so weak. And I remember sitting at the back door one afternoon or something, or in the middle of the day, and it was quite a nice day outside in Melbourne, and I actually remember being like, I want to die. Like, I want to die. I hate this. I want to die. And I regretted it in that moment. And that's really the only time that I've actually been like suicidal for that moment. And obviously I had the support around me to get through it, but I would not wish this surgery on my worst fucking enemy. Like, I would not wish this surgery on anybody because it is so fucking horrendous. I can't even explain it to you. Obviously, if you have to get it done, like I am here to support you because I got through it and I am glad that I did it. Like I really want you guys to know I am really glad that I did it. I do not regret doing it. However, I have to make sure that the father of my kids is a man that has a really good jaw and a really good set of teeth, because it will act, this is like full on fact, my orthodontist has told me this, because it will reduce the chance of them having to have the same thing or have as many teeth problems. Because I really, like, it would break me so much if my kids had to have this done, because like I had to have it done. So that was the only time that I really felt like properly suicidal was when I had this jaw surgery, and sitting at the back door just being like, when is this going to end? And I also found it really rough the following year, and like even the second year, because my face it took so long to get back to a stage where it didn't feel swollen. It didn't feel like I looked like thing 1, thing 2. And it felt like the surgery had worked, kind of thing. It took me a long time. I would probably say only in the last like year and a half have I felt really confident in like, my face looks normal. I don't look like thing 1, thing 2, because I honestly looked like thing 1, thing 2. I'm not even joking, you guys. And most people that get it done actually look like thing 1, thing 2 afterwards, because like their nose and everything gets stretched, and you look like you've had the most intense Botox of your life. You know, when people get really bad, really crazy facelifts and Botox, and they look a bit like thing 1, thing 2 from Dr. Seuss, you look like that when you've had the jaw surgery, because your skin is so stretched and you can't really smile properly, and your nose has been stretched and everything just looks like really weird. Anyway, so that was that. Why was the surgery necessary versus holistic methods? Okay, so like I was saying, it was a bone thing. It wasn't like I had anger in my, it wasn't like I was trying to release anger. It was because, like I've explained, I had an underbite. Cool. A lot of those questions. I clench my teeth a lot when I'm stressed. Is this a similar response to like grinding? Yep. So stress, tension, anger, like your body is tight. So hence making sure that you rewire your nervous system, which we do so much in my work. Rewiring your nervous system for relaxation will really help you to stop going into that stress response, because that stress response where you feel tight is also a trauma response. So you really want to make sure that you have gotten rid of your trauma that you are aware of, so that you're not subconsciously going into these trauma responses all the time, and you can really try and avoid them as much as possible, because they're not obviously good for your body or for your mind. Hannah, did you try Botox to help subside it? Okay, so I think some people think that I got jaw surgery for grinding my teeth, but I just want to clarify, it was not for me grinding my teeth. It was because of my underbite that I had when I was born. So I know people that have gotten Botox, and I know people get Botox for their grinding of their teeth, but guys, that is a Band-Aid. Botox is a Band-Aid for migraines. It's a Band-Aid for grinding your teeth, X, Y, and Z. It is a Band-Aid for those things. It's not you fixing the problem. People grind their teeth not because like their jaw is out of alignment, because if that was the case, you would get braces or you'd get the jaw surgery to be fixed. You're grinding your teeth because your body is stressed and it's holding on to anger and trauma and resentment and all those kind of emotions is what it's holding on to. Hence, you grind your teeth. Have you ever noticed when men get really angry, and it's like, it's really sexy at the same time, when they get really angry and you can see their jaw muscle pop out because they press their teeth together? I can't do it because I don't have like as muscly a face as men do. But you know when you see it on movies and like their jaw muscles pop out? Yeah, because they're pushing on their teeth and they're fucking angry, or they're about to like punch someone, or they're feeling protective over the woman, that kind of stuff. Okay. Okay, next thing. What did you do to reduce inflammation after surgery? Oh, good idea. Okay, so I actually came up with like a full protocol, and I sent it to my orthodontist so he could give it to his other patients, because I healed so much faster than I was meant to. So when my orthodontist went to Mexico to deliver this whole thing, he also brought this along with it, because that was he asked me like permission, obviously, can I take your case? And I was like, yes, as long as you really tell them everything I did naturally to help me heal this quicker than the average Joe. So I did heal, even though it took a long time for my face to really go back to normal, I did heal it faster than the average Joe. Same with my knee. So the main things, obviously, like a lot of fucking turmeric. I can't even fucking tell you. Everything I ate had turmeric in it. Bone broth, like I was pumped full of drugs, so I had to do a lot of stuff. My poor body has been pumped full of drugs quite a few times. I had to do a lot of things to help get my liver back in check. I made sure my gut health was on point before I went in, and then afterwards I would not touch sugar with a fucking 10-meter pole, because I knew that would increase my inflammation. So I kept that all really down. I had lots of healthy fats. I was making sure that I also had lots of protein. So it was very hard, right, for me to eat protein because I couldn't eat meat because I couldn't chew for so long. So what I would have to do is have whey protein in smoothies, and that's what I would have. So I would have double the amount of normal protein in smoothies because your body needs protein in order to repair cellular damage. So I was having lots of whey protein, and even though it had a little bit of dairy in it, it's not a big deal. So I would have that, and the brand that I used was called Bar Blends. Can't remember, a couple of years I remember this. Bar Blends in Australia is the brand that I would use because it's all grass fed and all good. What else did I do for inflammation? I obviously exercise when I could exercise again, but that actually took me a long time to be able to do yoga and Pilates again because I couldn't have my head down because all the blood would rush down to my head and it would give me it would just cause me so much pain. So I slowly was able to get back into exercise to help reduce inflammation and get my lymphatic system going again. I was on lots of herbs to reduce inflammation and to help my liver detox everything. I was having ginger. What else? Having milk thistle, just fuck tons of turmeric, I can't even tell you, and lots of bone broth because bone broth is also really good for inflammation. Oh, and lots of collagen too, collagen powder and things. So I did all those things to reduce the inflammation after surgery, and lots of energy work as well. Lots of gold light to my mouth and everything like that to also really support my body. Did you do any practices apart from the surgery to release anger, or do you do any now? So I do, obviously, my anger release practices when I feel like I need to, but I don't get angry very often. I really couldn't even tell you the last time I got really, really angry, although people following James actually does fucking piss me off. Or requesting to, such a boundary being crossed because you guys are taking the time to go and find him in my followers, which is fucking creepy. After I had that surgery, it released a little bit of anger, but I still wasn't in my feminine by any means, right? I still had a lot of this shame around my feminine. I was still quite hyper masculine. So when I did anger release on my healing journey, that took me to a whole new level of letting go of all that stuff and a whole new level of being in my feminine. So hence I do so much of that now. It's not just about the jaw stuff. It's actually about you getting rid of anger allows you to be more in your feminine, allows you to trust men. Because even if this is actually a bit of homework for you guys, if you want some homework, I've got a really itchy fucking ear from this headphone. If you want a bit of homework, go and watch Bridgerton or whatever the fuck it's called. I think it's really fucking boring. I was only watching it for the sex scenes, and I literally looked at Jelly after it finished and I was like, that was shit. I don't know what sex scenes you guys were going on about, but I did not find them that raunchy. Go watch 365. That's fucking raunchy sex scenes. Anyway, if you watch Bridgerton, it'll help you to understand very, very easily why women have this deep-seated anger towards men, right? Because their whole life was about men. It was about getting married. I need to get married. A man has to love me. It was all about I need to be desired by a man so I can be protected and provided for in my life. And we still carry that. And that also means at the same time that we can have a lot of anger towards men subconsciously that we don't know about. And this obviously goes into all the emasculation stuff that I talk about and why so many women emasculate subconsciously, and why I'm so big on us healing that part of ourselves and healing our anger towards men. It's not just because it's fucking fun to talk about. It's actually just because it's a really big, important thing for you and for the men in your lives, because you having anger towards someone, you are the one losing. You lose because anger is a low vibrational frequency. It is only going to cause more stress, more trauma, more fatigue, more burnout in your body. It's going to cause you to have worse sex, worse relationships, X, Y, and Z, because you're not operating from this open, full heart, full of gratitude and love. You've got anger and bitterness and resentment in your body, whether it's to your current friend, boyfriend, partner, colleague, whether it's to them because from this life, or whether it's because it's been passed down to you by generations from the fucking Bridgerton time, right? That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so next thing is, what's the next slide? I think I only have a few more questions. I've answered a lot of them. I constantly grind and clench my jaw when I'm sleeping, but also almost all day due to PTSD. Is it true that it can square out your face and that Botox helps reduce it? So you kind of answered your own question in that this is a prime example, like your PTSD is causing you to clench your jaw and grind your teeth, so we need to fix that. The end. I've had you stop grinding. I've done all that, going for jaw surgery to bring my jaw forward and slightly down. Would this release stuff for me? Maybe. Like, I obviously can't tell you, I don't know your situation and everyone's different, but maybe. And I wish you all the best in it, and I'm here if you need any advice or any support, because I know how shit it is. What did you do for recovery in relation to diet, if it was anything different? So most of you guys know I have a very, very healthy diet. I don't eat sugar, dairy, gluten, vegetable oil majority of the time. When I'm traveling, I don't worry about it. I can't eat gluten. I'm really allergic. I don't worry so much about sugar and dairy. I have no sweet tooth, so I won't necessarily go and eat really sugary things. If I take a bite of something and it's so sweet, I'll be like, oh God, I can't take any more. So when I'm in Italy or whatever and I'm getting, like, even when I was in Switzerland, and obviously Swiss chocolate is amazing. 70% is the lowest I can go to for chocolate. I normally eat 99% chocolate. So 70% is all I can do. And it's got to be like full of nuts and shit, and not just like pure chocolate, because otherwise it'll be like too sugary for me. So I don't really eat any sugar, and including even like honey maple syrup, I really avoid that. I'll have fruit. I have fruit more now than what I did in the past. But when I was recovering from my jaw surgery, none of that, no dairy, no gluten, no vegetable oil. I was anal as fuck about it, because not from like a deprivation, I hate myself point of view. I was anal as fuck about it because I'm like, I need my body to heal, and it needs to have the highest quality food. So it was like, I was only eating organic. I was so anal in a good way though, because I wanted my body to heal really quickly, and I needed to support my body. I would have like 2 cups of bone broth a day. Like, it was a full thing. I had jaw and chin surgery last year in London, so I should to hear this. Amy, I literally had a dream that you did this podcast last night. Lol. There you go. So I think they're all the questions that you guys left for me. I hope this answers some of your questions about all this stuff, but the bottom line is that, hold on, there's one more. Let me just find this. Okay, if you have trauma in your jaw, mouth, teeth, is that a block from speaking your truth? Could be. So like, obviously it's like a similar situation, but I also want to say that I've got no problem speaking my truth. Never really, I have a little bit in the past, depending what I had to say, but I've always had a pretty open throat chakra, as many of you might have already picked up. So it depends on the person. But if you came to me with an inability to speak your truth, and you literally would get a massive frog in your throat, and you have terrible grinding issues, I can guarantee you that once we got rid of the throat chakra stuff, worked on people pleasing, worked on boundaries, worked on your self-worth, worked on like everything else, worked on releasing anger, that shit would all disappear. Like, I can almost guarantee that. So every case is different, but you don't really have to worry. All you have to do is come to me and trust me, and I solve your jigsaw puzzle. That's my fucking jam. So if any of you guys want to do this, please let me know. Please join Queen Alchemy. It's going to be a fucking vibe. Like, I'm going to be in Tulum for it, possibly Aspen, although they're locking down, I think. So maybe just Tulum. Bottom line is there's going to be margaritas and the beach and or snow, or maybe no snow, but there's definitely going to be Tulum. So if you need any help with this and you want to fix your jaw issues, please let me know. But the bottom line is that I want you guys to understand is that your jaw is where you hold anger. That's why when you get angry, you'll often go, and you clench, and you often bite down on your jaw, and you'll do it subconsciously often, even like when you're just like in a situation and like there are slow walkers in front of you and you're like, fucking hell, these slow walkers. Even me saying that right then, you could feel or see that the tension goes straight to my jaw. If you also struggle with really bad jawline acne, that can also be because of anger. Remember that like anger is also, hi Brian, oh I miss you guys so much. I should be moving back at the end of the year so I can see you. Fingers crossed. I just need to get as long as I get an E1 visa, Brian, if I get my E1 visa, which I will, it's already done, then I will move back to New York and Colorado. So I will see you soon. What was I going to say? So, with your jaw, that's right. So when you have a lot of anger in your system and a lot of anger in your body, that's going to funnel into like higher stress levels, right? Which is more cortisol, more adrenaline through your body. That's going to affect your hormonal balance. That's going to affect how your periods show up, how your PMS is, what your skin is like, how your hair, skin, and nails, for example. What's your weight like? Are you holding a lot of unwanted weight around your stomach that you can't seem to budge? That's cortisol related, probably could be related to the anger if you're also holding on to a lot of anger. So like these, and then at the same time, if you also have really deep trauma from a man that raped you, or your dad abusing you, or your mum neglecting you, or your mum's body image issues that she projected onto you, or bullying from school, or stress at work. Like, all of these things are all interwoven. So it's never just like, oh, if I like scream in a pillow, my jaw clenching is going to disappear. I don't want you guys to go think if I go scream in a pillow right now, my jaw clenching is going to disappear, and then if it doesn't, be like, oh, Monica was wrong. No, because that may do shit for you, because it's not about your current bit of anger that you have towards your friend. It's actually about the deeper stuff. So that's why it's like, you really have to take a holistic approach. You can't just look at one thing. And I will say, this is why I love the way that I do my job. And like, even the girls in my certification, like, I'm like so fucking proud of like how they're going to be, because like, it's so holistic, right? Because I look at the hormonal aspect, I look at the physical aspect, the mental aspect, the emotional aspect, and the spiritual aspect. I look at all of those bodies. It's not just like one little bit that I'm looking at. I'm looking at everything, because all of it relates to the problem that you're having. I think it's limiting sometimes when, like, if you go to say, and I'm not dissing anyone's career at all, but if you go to like a naturopath, typically they're not also going to be like, oh, this is your spiritual body, or this is your emotional body. We need to do some anger release towards your dad, or we need to do some inner child healing, or some womb clearing, or some cord cutting, or, you know, some DNA upgrading. They don't know that, right? So they're only going to look at one area, and then you're like, why isn't this working? But the great thing is, if you come to me, I can look at all the areas, because I know all the areas. So I'll be able to actually pinpoint what it is. Because some women come to me and they think it's hormonal issue, and I'm like, this isn't hormonal, this is energetic. And then you fix the energy, and then the hormones are back in balance. And I'm like, oh, funny that. So that's kind of the bonus of me. Mary, I have my left side jaw joint out of place. It does a clicking noise, and I was told I need jaw surgery. I would try and possibly heal it naturally beforehand. But like, I would look at an x-ray. If it's really out of place, then like, maybe get a jaw surgery. But honestly, Mary, I wouldn't wish that shit on anybody. I'm not a doctor, right? Like, I'm not a jaw surgery expert by any means. Okay, so do not take this as the Bible. This is just like my opinion. In my opinion, if I was having a little bit of clicking and it wasn't causing me excruciating amounts of pain, I probably wouldn't get it done, and I would focus on doing the energy component at least first. Because I've had girls that have come to me with like major shoulder issues that no one can figure out what to do with, and they've been told they need surgery and they really don't want it. And then we do a pile of work on their shoulder for energy, trauma, all that kind of stuff, wounding, not in relation to their shoulder. It's always in relation to like something else. And then their shoulder's back, and they're like, what the fuck? I haven't had the pain for like the past month. Oh my God, it's fixed, right? And then it's fixed. So if I were you, Mary, I would join Queen Alchemy, so we can probably fix it in Queen Alchemy. And then if it doesn't get fixed and it's causing you a lot of pain, then maybe down the track get the surgery if you really feel like you need to. But if it's not causing you a lot of pain, and if it's not causing damage by it clicking, then in my personal opinion, I would not put yourself through that shit, because it's not a month off work. It's years of you, and I don't obviously know how bad that would be, like to just get a little thing done in your jaw, how swollen it would make your face. But getting facial surgery is not the vibe, in my opinion. So I'm just like also not a fan of like needles or anything, hence I could never get any Botox or lip fillers or anything like that, because I'm just like, don't come near my fucking face. Like, I'm just so protective of my face. I'm like, no one come near it. And I'm really protective of my teeth as well and everything, like. Anyway, so yeah, hopefully this answers all your questions, guys. And I'm really excited for all of you that have already joined Queen Alchemy. We're already a third full. So if you would like to join, please do not sit on your ass, because I don't want you missing out. And if you want to join the certification, please let me know as well, because we've already welcomed in some amazing women and sent out a bunch of invitation letters, which I'm so fucking excited about. And as some of you guys would have seen yesterday, I put on my Instagram story, one of my students' clients was like, holy fuck, like, I had Renee as a coach for a while. Like, these modalities are insane. Like, you are birthing the most incredible coaches. So if you want to be in that arena of like the fucking next level kind of coaches, and not just like let's journal coach, then I would definitely look at joining the certification as well, because it honestly is the only program like it that's out there. Like, literally Google, like, there's no other program that does like money, sex, trauma, periods, men, food, like everything. Manifestation, like the whole kit and caboodle. Anyway, I'm gonna go, guys. I have a meeting soon. I will talk to you all later. Lovely to check in, lovely to see you all. Jelly says hello. He's actually asleep or dead, one of the two. New podcast out today as well, all about our Zermatt trip and Manifesting Miracles. So you can go listen to that if you want to. Have a lovely day, everyone. Bye.